In the last class, we were discussing about the DOM tree traversal and its modifications. And today we are going to discuss about the DOM collections. Here, the document object model contains several collections. What do you mean by a collection? Collection is a group of related objects on a page. Here, the DOM collections are accessed as properties of DOM objects. How can you access the property of an object? It's name dot that property name, like that. Here this DOM objects may be document objects or DOM nodes. So if you want to access the collection, you need to use the name of the object like document, then a dot operator, then name of the collections. Now we need to discuss about which are the collections inside an HTML page. The document object has properties containing the images collection, links collections, forms collection, and anchors collections. These collections contain all the elements of the corresponding type on a page. Means images collection contains all the images which are present inside an HTML page. How can you insert an image inside an HTML page? We can insert that by using img tag. So this collection contains all the tags which are having img in that. Hope it is clear. Like that, links contains all the links. That means all the A and area tags inside an HTML page. Then forms contains all the forms which are present inside the HTML page. Then anchors collection means all the A tags which are present inside an HTML page. Images collection that we already discussed. The images collection returns a collection of all img elements in the document. Links collection, it returns a collection of all the links inside the document. Here the link means all the A and area tags. Then forms collection returns a collection of all form elements in the document. Then anchors collection, this returns a collection of all A elements in the document that have a name attribute. This A element should have a name attribute, then only this anchors collection will return that particular element. Hope it is clear. Its syntax is document dot name of the collection. If you want to get links collection, the syntax is document dot links. It just got a property called length. This length returns the number of A and area tag elements in the collection. Hope it is clear. Now we need to discuss about image collections. If you want to get the images, the group of images which are present inside the HTML page, you can use document.images. This will return the collection of images present inside the HTML page. These collections are very easy to access all the elements of a single type inside a page. This is useful for gathering elements into one place and for applying changes to those elements across the entire page. Hope it is clear. Here we need to discuss about, we need to see the code related to this particular collections. This is the code. Here you can see one HTML page, that is collections.html. It contains HTML tag, then head tag, then a meta tag, then there is a link that is for linking style sheet, and there is another JavaScript file for executing the JavaScript programs. And there is a body. Body contains one heading, h1. Then there is a paragraph. Inside the paragraph, we have lots and lots of links. Href, then there is a link like that. So in our program, we need to find all the links which are present inside this page, that is all the A tags. Then I have also used another div id equal to links, and it is blank. I need to put all the links inside this links division tag. So we need to discuss about that is collections.js, that is our JavaScript file. Here this is our interest. We already discussed about this thing. If we want to get the collection, we need to use document.the collection name, document.links. Then we will be getting all the links which are present inside this document. Here var links list equal to document.links, that means this will return all the links which are present inside this page to this particular variable. Hope it is clear. Then the links list is a list, so that is like an array. So if you want to access each and every individual elements inside this particular array, we can use what? This indices. So links list 0, then there is a property called length, which should contain all that is the number of links which are present inside this particular page. So by using this, we can access the link name, then its content like inner HTML, href, we will be getting the link. Then what I am doing is we are displaying that particular contents. This is the content, that is the concatenation of link and its content of the link, and we will be displaying that in the links tag. Here the links tag means our div. This is the div. Here we are displaying all the link and its content as the content of this particular div tag. And there is another code, that is add event listener. We all know that. What is this add event listener? Window.add event listener. This is for registering an event. Here we are registering the load event with process links function. Here this is our process link function. This is our process link function. Here we are registering this process link function with the load event. Load means while we take the page. There is an event called load will get executed. Then upon loading the page, we need to execute this function. For that, we are registering this particular load event with the function. Hope it is clear. The third parameter, we will be discussing this in later classes. Hope it is clear. This is our style tag. This is our style file. The style file is for providing various styles to different elements. Its format should be .css. Hope it is clear. Okay. Now we need to discuss about dynamic styles. Here an element style also can be changed dynamically. Often such a change is made in response to user events. Like if there is a user event is happening, then we can change the style of a particular element dynamically. The style changes can create mouse hover effects, that is we move our mouse over a particular element, then we can change the style of that particular element. You can do that by using JavaScript. Then we can create interactive menus and animations. Animations can also be created by using dynamic styles or JavaScript. The document object's body property refers to the body element, that we already know about that. Then we can use set attribute method to set the style attribute with the user specified color for the background color CSS property. We can use set attribute method in order to set a particular attribute. If you have predefined CSS style classes defined for your document, you can also use the set attribute method to set the class attribute. If there is a class of style, we can use this CSS class style to implement a particular style by using JavaScript dynamically. This is the code. This is the code for this dynamic style HTML. Here you can see once HTML, that is dynamic style.html. Here we are having a title, then a script, that is dynamic style.js. We are executing this particular JavaScript, and inside the body we have a paragraph. Welcome to our website. Then inside the JavaScript file, what we do is we are prompting something. We know that this prompt is what? It is a window that for getting input from the user. This is used for getting some input from the user. Here what we do is we are prompting enter a color name for the background of this page. That means here we are trying to get the background color of the page, the name of the background color of a particular page from the user. Then we are setting the attribute, that is background color attribute, as that particular color. So here we are trying to get the background color attribute of our body or our document or our HTML page dynamically. That is the main point. Here we are dynamically accessing the background color property of our page. Again, we need to register our event, that is load event is registered with the start function. This is our start function. So upon loading this page, this function will get executed. Hope it is clear. So while executing this function, we will be prompting the user that which particular color you need to put on your background, put as background of your HTML page. Then we are putting like document.body.setAttribute. So we need to use this function setAttribute in order to set the attribute of a particular object. So here we are putting the background color as the input color. Hope it is clear. While executing this dynamic.html, you'll be prompting like this. While executing this, you'll be getting a prompting window. Then we can provide, we can input any color that is defined for making as the background color. So upon clicking this OK, you'll be getting what the background color as red. Then you can provide green like that. So JavaScript can be used for changing the background color or any other properties, any other attributes dynamically. This is an example of dynamic programming. Hope it is clear. Now we need to discuss about how can we create animated effects by using a timer and a dynamic style. The window objects, that is, there is an object, we all know that window objects, set interval and clear interval methods. We need to discuss about these two methods, set interval and clear interval. We can combine them for creating, we can combine them with dynamic styles to create animated effects. We all know that how can we create animations. Video is what? It is a stream of different images. While creating animation, we need to draw some figure, then we need to redraw the figure with some offset, then again we need to redraw the figure with some objects like that. Suppose if you want to create an animation of bouncing a ball, then first we need to draw a ball in a particular coordinate. Then in the next frame, we need to draw the ball with some offset, like maybe in the x-axis. Then we need to provide some offset in the y-axis. So we need to draw that ball in some other location. Then we need to erase that ball in the current location, and we need to redraw that ball in some other location. In this way, we can create a moving effect for that particular ball. So here, by using JavaScript and dynamic styles, how can you create some animations? That we need to discuss about that. First one, the function set interval. this set interval method calls a function or evaluates an expression at specified intervals. Here we need to provide an interval for this particular set interval function and a function. Then that particular function will get called in a particular interval. These intervals will be given in terms of milliseconds. The set interval method will continue calling the function until clear interval is called or the window is closed. The set interval method returns a unique identifier to keep track of that particular interval timer. The ID value returned by the set interval is used as the parameter for the clear interval method. Two methods are there, set interval and clear interval. Set interval is used for calling a particular function in a particular interval. Then clear interval is used to clear that particular functionality. Here the syntax of set interval is set interval, then first parameter is the function to be called, then second interval is in milliseconds. What is the interval of calling that particular function? That is the second parameter. Then third parameter is param1, param2 of that particular function. Hope it is clear. Then clear interval method. The clear interval method clears a timer set with the set interval method. The ID value returned by the set interval is used as the parameter for the clear interval method. The syntax is clear interval, then the parameter is ID of set interval. This ID of set interval is the ID which is returned by the set interval function. This is a required parameter that will clear that particular functionality. Now we need to discuss the code of this thing. Here in this is a JavaScript file. Its name is cover. Inside this we are initializing a particular variable interval as null, then speed as 6, count as 0. This particular program is used for implementing an animation effect. There is a function called run. Inside this we are incrementing this count by using the value 6. This is the speed. Speed is set as 6. That is a fixed value. We are adding 6 to this particular count inside the run function. We will be discussing this. Why do we adding this speed to count? We will discuss about that. Here this run function is called repeatedly to animate the book cover. Here we are having lots and lots of book covers. Upon clicking one cover, we will be generating one animation for displaying that particular cover. Like this. This is the output. This is the output. Upon clicking one cover, you can see that animation. That is, at first the size of this particular cover was a thumbnail. Then it will be incrementing and incrementing. After that, you will be getting this particular large thumbnail. Hope it is clear. We need to create this program. Upon clicking this, we are getting the animation like this. Hope it is clear. We need to programmatically do this. This is what our animation does. Okay. Here first what we do is we'll be creating 3 variables: interval, speed and count. And here the count is incremented by speed, that is 6. Then for stopping the animation, there should be a stopping criteria. Otherwise it will be keep on going and going for a large picture. Here what we do is, if count is greater than or equal to 375, window.clear interval. Here the clear interval is used for what? Stopping an animation. Here we are calling window.clear interval of interval. What may be this interval? Any guess? This interval, that is the ID which is provided by the set interval function. Hope it is clear. So here what we are doing is we are getting an element image cover, and that is its reference is we put that reference inside big image. Then that big image, we are setting the attribute of the big image as, which are the attributes we are setting? Its width and height. That is, in that execution, we have seen that upon clicking a particular thumbnail, its size was a very small thing. Then the size was increasing up to a particular limit. For that, we are using this thing. We are repeatedly incrementing the width, and we are repeatedly incrementing the size. And we are setting width and size to this particular image. That is what is happening here. This image cover, what may be that image cover? That big image, the element which is containing that big image. So we are adding width and height of that particular image. That is what is happening here. And we are repeatedly calling this run function. So now the question is, how can you repeatedly call that run function? So for that, we are using this set interval function of run. Hope it is clear. So display, there is another function, display img file. Then in the display function, we are providing the parameter as img file. Okay, this display function, what we do is, we are getting the image cover, big image. This is our big image, img cover element contains the big image. Then we are putting attribute, as 0. Here it is putting attribute as 0, and we are putting the source attribute as the img file. This will be img file. This img file, where we can get this img file? Upon execution, we saw that upon clicking a particular thumbnail. So upon clicking that particular thumbnail, we will be getting the name of that image. So that is the size source. Then there is an alternative text. Suppose that image is not present, then this alternate string will get displayed. So then we are calling that run function in every 10th milliseconds. That is the interval. So we are calling this run function. Hope it is clear. Then in the start function, we will be registering some events, that is click events with jhtp.jpg. We will be looking into that. What may be this jhtp.jpg, like that. Then jhtp, this is one element. Then IW3HTP is another element. CPP-HTP is another element. Then we are adding display function. We are mapping display function with click event of that particular element. For the time being, you just need to see this. We will be looking into what may be this JHTP or CPP-HTP, then JHT plov, like that. For the time being, we only need to understand that we are registering this click event with some display function with this particular element. That is, if JHTP element, we are calling display of that particular image. Then with IW3HTP element, we are calling display with that particular image. Hope it is clear. Here IW3HTP.jpg in order to display that particular image. Then if you take the case of CPP-HTPLOF, then we will be calling the display function with CPP-HTP-LOF.jpg, like that. Hope it is clear. Then we are adding the load event with the start function. The start function is this thing. Okay, start function is this thing. Upon clicking any event, any element, we'll be going to the display function. Inside the display function, what we are doing is we are repeatedly calling the run function. So in the load function, we will be loading the start function. Inside the start function, upon clicking any of the element, we will be going to the display function, that is upon clicking W3HTP, we will be calling the display function. Inside the display function, what we are doing is we are using the set interval function. Set interval function. In the set interval function, we will be calling the run function with this particular image. With this particular image, we are changing the height and width of that particular image. So upon clicking on image, we will be calling the display function for displaying that particular image. Inside the display function, we will be calling this run function repeatedly by using the set interval for applying that particular animation. That is what is happening here. Now we need to look into the HTML file. HTML file, we will be having an HTML tag, then head section. Then inside the body section, we are having one division. Its image ID is main image. This is the full image size. That is the this is the full image. This is the full image. This is the full image. That is the element main image. Main image. Then inside there is a division called thumbs. Then here you can see JHTP, IW3HTP, then CPP HTP, JHTP love. These are the IDs of these thumbs. These are the thumbs. So CPHTP like that. So these are the thumbs. Upon clicking this, we will be calling the display function. From the display function, we will be calling the run function repeatedly. Inside the run function, what we do is we will be dynamically changing the height and width of this particular image. Then upon dynamically changing that height and width of the image, we will be getting the animation effect. Hope it is clear.